Drummer boy.
Music play no games, yo. Bad boy, Bobby be a pretty boy, dark skin boy. The sweet smile, they give me joy. Been texting and vibing and chatting, but lately me wanting your loving. You got me ADDICTED, but sometimes your network. You got me ADDICTED, but sometimes your network they misbehave. Oh, hey there. Welcome to episode 6 of Life Floor. I am in a very good mood. I don't know why. Maybe because I love the song I'm featuring in this particular episode and the story and my listeners as well. Thank you guys so much for staying with me on this journey to this point. I really appreciate you. Please, I'd love you all to rate this podcast so that it can appear in other searches on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Because the more people rate the podcast, the more others get to see it and then listen to it. Thank you so much. For episode 6, the title of the story is SULEIMAN Girls. But sometimes your network they misbehave, no. Cause you be giving red flags in the morning, a lot of sugar and spice in the evening. I cannot really phantom. What is it you want from me, baby? And when I ask you what that we, you go to say let's go with the flow. Inhale, exhale. I did my breathing exercises, mentally and physically preparing myself for whatever chaos I was likely venturing into. Picked up my bucket and set out for the general tap. It was 6 p.m. and I knew the queue at the tap would be longer than River Nile, but I couldn't wait until midnight when it would be empty of students and buckets. I had a date in 3 hours, one I couldn't turn down. I almost bumped into an old woman, likely in her mid-40s, maybe older, in the hallway as I turned left toward the first staircase. She was carrying a big drum of water on her head while she strained to keep her wobbly legs from falling apart. "Sanu de aiki, mama. Well done," I hailed in an apologetic voice and ran down the stairs, not waiting to hear her reply. Many girls in SULEIMAN hostel gave the women who cleaned, oftentimes older women like the one I just met, the tasks of fetching them water, washing their plates and clothes for paltry sums, thereby becoming little bosses of their own. I never patronized them. Not that I couldn't afford it, but because I couldn't imagine leaving my mother, or even grandmother, in charge of the house chores while I lazed around, so I did all my work by myself. I arrived in time to catch a good spot at the 5th tap. The water poured out like urine being forced out of the body, but it was better than joining the taps with unending lines of humans and plastics, whose water gushed out like the milk in a nursing mother's breast. There were 7 buckets in front of mine. The closest to the tap was doubled. I folded my hands and hummed as I waited, joy in my heart for being so lucky. I wasn't going to become old and grey on the queue while awaiting my turn. I looked around me. The girl whose turn it was smallish and had tribal marks on her face, one on each cheek, that ran haphazardly from her cheekbone and ended below her full wide lips like a country's borderline. I reckoned that whoever had committed such atrocity on her face was heartless. I looked away before she could catch me staring. The other girls at the other taps either sat dejectedly on their buckets or drums, or stood, hands on their heads like they had just lost a family member or friend to the cruel hands of death. Some were washing clothes or dishes under the lockers bin tree. There were, littered about, wrappers of detergents, bar soaps, bubble gum, sanitary pads, the remnants of a burnt pot of rice, stew. "Sister, please, are you the last person?" A sweet sing-song voice interrupted my wanderings. I wanted to tell her I wasn't her sister, and God punish whoever had invented that name for use by female schoolmates in ABU's area when we were in no way related to one another by blood, and I wasn't the last person. But one look at her innocent face, big childlike brown eyes, shaped brows, plump cheeks, small puckered lips, and I held my tongue. Yes, sister, I am, I heard myself say. She brightened up, clasped her hands in sheer delight, and dropped her bucket, which she held like a handbag, after mine. I'm behind you. Please, I'm coming. She whispered conspiratorially like we knew each other and whisked away. I smiled nonetheless and checked to see how close I was to filling up my two buckets. Sister Tribal Max was about to leave, so I moved the buckets closer to the tap before someone acted smart and fixed theirs in between. The three buckets before mine now took longer to fill up. Maybe because my eyes were fixated on them. Maybe because the owner was a black, and I mean black like charcoal, bony girl with even darker large spots on her bare arms and legs, whom was chewing gum noisily with her mouth wide open, repulsing me. Maybe because I was eager to leave the tap and go back to my room to prepare for my date. Maybe because I was imagining the large hands that would soon grope me in the dark, fingers that would caress all my sweet spots at the long corridor. An eternity later, it was finally my turn. I was fetching my second bucket when Sister Pretty Face returned. Almost immediately, a fight broke out 5 taps away from ours. Drop my bucket though, you're very stupid, God punish you, you think say he's smart. And obscene insults were thrown like punches between two girls of contrasting features. One was short and dark-skinned, the other tall and fair. The short one had been the one fetching, but she kept accepting the extra buckets her roommates were bringing, and this irritated the tall one to the point of protesting against the injustice meddled on her and those who had been waiting patiently behind her for their turn. She had kicked the bucket away and fixed hers. It was getting dark. The sun had disappeared into the horizon. I picked up my bucket, and as I turned to leave, I caught a glimpse of Sister Pretty Face, eyes red, brows raised, voice like a beast. A total contrast to the person I'd met some minutes before. If I slap you, she reprimanded at the top of her voice. A petite girl who wanted to fetch little water in a tiny container that was just her size. Sister, please, I want to wash plates, the petite girl pleaded, but couldn't hear Sister Pretty Face's answer. A commotion erupted at the other tap. Buckets began to fly, just like blows and insults, and water splashed recklessly. Girls were squealing, some in fear, some in delight. I picked up my pace, but just in time to hear someone exclaim, "SULEIMAN Girls!" to my left, then mutter, "Every day, bass boost, bass boost." Clearly I'm not cut out for this. This back and forth, they break my pace. Mixed signal messing with my headspace. You have come to the end of episode 6 of Life Flow. Please don't forget that Suleiman Girls is a work of fiction. Names, characters, places, and incidents are products of my imagination and are used fictitiously. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, business establishments, events, or locales is entirely coincidental. If you enjoyed this story, and I do hope you did, I'm also sure you did, please leave a review. I am going to be dropping a link in the show notes for you to also leave a voice message. So even if you don't want to write a review, you can also leave a voice message. Tell me what you think about the story or about life law in general. And please don't forget to rate the podcast as well. Also engage in the poll and share this episode to as many people as you can. This song that I use in this episode, one that I really love, you're going to get more information on where to listen to the full track and the artist as well in the show notes. I upload new episodes every 2 weeks, so kindly click the follow and subscribe button so you don't miss out on new content. I remain your host, Debbie Doesi Ajo. Bye. Mwah.
Seek the drummer boy.
Music play no games, yo.
Bad boy, Papi be a pretty, pretty boy, dark skin boy. The sweet smile, they give me joy. Been texting and vibing and chatting, but lately me wanting your loving. You got me ADD, but sometimes your network they misbehave, no. Cause she be giving red flags in the morning, a lot of sugar and spice in the evening. I cannot really phantom. What is it you want from me, baby?